July outfit and what have you. But we've got the DK challenge up here. I've been meaning to mess with this, but let it slip behind other games. And it should have just been a game in the store or whatever, but it's not. We didn't stream last night, so we're going to stream right now for just a little bit. There's this, there's the new Mario Kart update, and then there's one more surprise I may stream, but I may stream that surprise before the Mario Kart update. We'll just see how this goes right here. Select a challenge, clear the challenge, get a challenge card. Okay. So it does have like achievements and stuff like that. So it's just going to be like different Donkey Kong games. Charge punch. Okay, I can pick the ones I want. Let's start with the Super Nintendo one. Checking whether the software can be played. You need to update, so okay. Ridiculous. And we keep waiting.
3 hours later.
Okay, so now it finished updating, or downloading, now it's finishing updating. And we should be able to jump right back into it. So it's kind of like they just took Donkey Kong Country and modded it. Or, you know, spliced certain areas of it and was like, if you do this, we'll give you credit for whatever. I always hated those things. Wait a minute. Did I even go in here? There were so many secrets in this game. You definitely need a strategy guide to find all the stuff in here. And they let you know when you were not collecting stuff. They made it a point to say, oh, you were only like 60%. You could have done so much better had you got this, and this. Cannot make that jump. Oh, you know what? You were supposed to bounce off those guys. I remember now. Again, I was probably like 13 years old or something like that when this was out. So, cut me some slack. I can't stand those things either. Oh, there's Rambi. There's a secret in here or something. More bananas. Okay. I don't even remember what the objective was here. But hey, we got KONG. Was there anything here? No, of course not. Nothing up there either. Now it's dark zone. Okay, jungle hijinks. Challenge cleared. Look at that. We did something already. We already did something. So we got some kind of card for that. Next challenge. Ooh, minecart. Let's check this one out. So you guys have Minecraft, we have the minecart madness on here. Oh! I was supposed to jump there and my ear was itching. Let's restart from the beginning. Only because maybe you don't get the whole challenge card if you rewound a little bit. You have a ride at Epic, like at the Super Nintendo World. It's like the minecart. It's pretty trippy. It was giving me flashbacks of this game and how scary that was. Ooh. Let's rewind a little. No. I got the O last time. We're getting the O again this time. Jump here. I don't know, you daredevils who fall for that and get the bananas. We have to continue though. But that was a trap. I always thought like, oh, you could jump in that and that's an extra cart, like a fresher one or something. But no. It's like running into the carts at Walmart or something like that. Oh, we lost Diddy. We're rewinding because it's bad boy for life. Ooh. Okay. We're rewinding again. They want me to abuse these save states. God. Just getting hit. Just leave me alone, dude. He's coming out of nowhere. And here's the thing. He's trying to hit you. He's not just like cruising. He's trying to punish you with that. What happened to the rewind? We don't need to see me fall all the way. How is he getting me there? Alright, we need to redo that. There we go. Why did that have to be such a high jump? And my vision is not what it used to be, so these kind of levels. There he is right there waiting for me. And you just have to know. God, that was a bad spot to rewind. Whoa! How far, I was gonna say, how far did we go? Such a bad spot to be at. You have to know. Oh my God. Ugh. No, why are you putting me right at the spots where those should not even be options to rewind? KONG and then got hit. I think it's because my ceiling fan light is so bright that you see the green. There's also like a red light, green light level. And I end up thinking about that level when I play these, because that was painful. We were right there at the end, come on. Thumb sore already. I should not have done this. I need to turn that light off. I need to turn that light off. That was bad. That was really bad, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't really have any words for myself there. Like, for real though, like, how are you still terrible at this game? Like, you've been playing this for years and still awful at it. So, let's see what they give us there for that. They still gave an achievement for it though. Barreling to the top. I think I'm gonna struggle at that. Look at, they all have like markers on them. Hard. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. We gotta download more stuff? Come on, man. All this should not be a thing here. Almost there, though. Almost there. Okay, so update complete. Like, I feel like I should be capable of beating this. Unfortunately, which button was jump? Why was it not the B button here? Okay, it's still the A button. But the stupid oil making the fire, we've got to move faster than it. And I could go for that hammer, but No. Restart from the beginning. I gotta be able to do this from the beginning. I know I don't have the patience and everything, but... Oh! Alright, here we go. We're gonna run it back. We're gonna keep running. These are short little levels. I gotta... And this is like the first one on top of it. What I should have done is grab that hammer, but I was just, again, like, just trying to... What are you doing, Mario? No, I got robbed there. Let's rewind that. I got robbed there. Controls got me there. Oh, shoot, he just threw that to the side? Okay, that's how it should have been. Challenge cleared. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take that one. Next challenge. Let's see what we got here. We're not... I mean, that one doesn't say hard, though. Let's try it out. Do we got to download some more stuff, Nintendo? Always want me to... Okay. So we're Dixie Kong here. What is happening? I don't... That was lame. Oh, Diddy is strong enough now to... Whoa! Don't remember that. Alright. Just trying to get in the barrel, son. Maybe. Supposed to hold that. Yeah. That was dumb. You couldn't have landed on him, did he? What's going on there? If I wasn't live streaming, maybe it would have been a better situation. You just went straight through that, didn't you? Oh, you know what? Was I supposed to bounce off of him? Well, I don't think I'm freeing her because I... I could have dropped down there to get her. Oh, shoot. Maybe there's another... Go away, dude. Yep, there it is. I should be capable of doing that. Did we really miss all of that? That was a secret as well. Oh, they swarmed in and got me. I feel like he's right there. That was kind of worth it, and then kind of not. Hurry up, dude. Go away. You couldn't have thrown that first? Come on. I am so undisciplined for this right now. This is definitely a game I can't play with too much light because the light in my house is blending in with the light in this game. What the crap? No, we knew we were gonna fall there. And we're almost at the top. I can do this. Like, go away, dude. I missed all the middle letters. Remember doing that without being able to save state? No? Good. It's the kind of trauma you don't want. Okay, we did that one. Barrel Canyon and Blowout. It doesn't say that this is hard. Oh, no, I see that little icon there. Let's try this one. Insert the game card. No, I'm not doing that. I see what it wants. It's actually pulling from each of these games. That's why it's taking so long to load. You've got to do it from the Super Nintendo emulator that they've got up here, Super Nintendo Online, and the Nintendo Online. So I can only get those achievements if I put in the Donkey Kong game, which, wow, there's a lot of them there. This is also a Bonanza. Alright, look, we're gonna just get the game. Because, in all honesty, I feel like showing y'all this without the Bonanza stuff is kind of moot. It was cool to do the old ones, which is what they advertised, and the pictures and all that, but it's not the same. Ooh, they got the minecart, man. I want to do this one right here, and it's got... We gotta download more stuff. Holy crap. Let's see what I got on my alerts here. Well, we'll take a quick commercial break, I guess.
When it's least expected, you're elected, you're the star today. Smile, you're on Game Boy camera. It's fun to look at yourself as other people do. How's your sense of humor? There's a rumor, laughter's on its way. Smile, you're on Game Boy camera.
Yes, with Game Boy camera, you can turn photography into photography.
Smile, you're on Game Boy camera.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Like, for real though, how are you still terrible at this game? Like, you've been playing this for years and still awful at it. Okay, so he still wants to remind me of being bad at this stuff, but, you know, whatever. we need to make sure that we're where we need to be here. So it's loading up Bonanza. Okay. I wasn't trying to do any of that. I actually wasn't trying to do this either. Like, why does it want me to do that? Close software. We were in this challenge trying to do that. And it should have just asked me to do that. Like, why doesn't it just move me to whatever part of the game it needs to for that? I don't get it. It's literally just pulling up the game at this point. So when I do this, right, and I hit continue because we've already recorded this, what is actually happening? It looks like I'm continuing from where I last played the game instead of where I should be for this challenge. And it's pretty dumb. Challenge card collected. Okay, so it looks like it is moving me there. Okay. So that's not what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I can go punch a bunch of stuff. I honestly haven't played this since last year, it feels like. So I don't even remember what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to just smash whatever's in the way? Like... Does this hurt? I don't remember. It hurts. Okay, jump, dude. I feel like you were supposed to pick up this stuff here and break through it like that. Why weren't you smashing that stuff, dude? Alright, so we got through that, albeit poorly, but we got through it.
What an adventure!
So you look over here and it's like some kind of task here. Yep. 300 bananas. Yeah, start the rehearsal, dude. What are you doing? Oh, there's a lot of bananas for this. Show me your power, he says. Okay, obviously that hurts you. Was I supposed to punch those into him? Probably. That's what it looks like. I see nowhere to like grab. Okay, he does all that. There was nothing to do there. You had to like punch those things into him to hurt him, I guess. Did we accidentally give up? No, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, you're supposed to retry. I feel like we had to punch those things into him. Yes, skip all this. Can't see through the layers of smoke or any of that crap. Yes, get out of the way with the talking. There we go. So that was one. What does it say? Like 5 more or something crazy like that? We did recover some health. It looks like. I don't know. Maybe we didn't recover health, but we healed up. Again, I haven't played this in so long. I'm rusty at it. I've been playing different consoles, so A is B and B is A. It's a little wonky. Okay. Punched our way through a lot of these guys. Oh wait, there's more. Forgot about this guy. There's a CD right there. I think I was supposed to hold that. Okay, so do I hold? No, stop punching it! How do I pick that up? I need that to hurt him. Come over here and hit him. Oh, you know what? His back is turned. That's what it was. His back was turned. He wasn't completely covered anyway. Wasted too much health there, but... Alright, now is that dude at the top, is his back exposed like the rest of them, or am I gonna have to do some stuff there? Because if you look, could just smash all of that. I don't want to punch it. So they keep spawning, but we need him to get down here to get hit. Possibly by some of those enemies. Problem is, if we break that too much, can we not get up here? It's like, why won't they get up there? We've literally smashed almost everything in here. See how that comes down? Why hasn't that other thing come down? More enemies. I didn't realize I was going to be riding the thing when I jumped on this. You know what? I think R was to grab. Yeah. Well, now he's down here. Yeah, we needed that. I gotta get one of these things. It's taking me too long to complete this challenge. But with this, we can now hit this dude. Which is what we needed anyway. God, it took me way too long to do that. Hey, there's a Bananium gem there. But you just keep going, there's more. I was gonna say, what are you doing? Jump in there. We got lava flowing. Hold Y, then release. Oh gosh. You gotta hurry up. Jump, DK. You gotta do the same thing here. An apple would be dope though, you know. Just saying. Okay, let's stand back here. That just immediately filled up though. Oh, we do have to defeat all of these. Interesting. Okay. That got the one. But we need the other guy. They'll reappear though. Okay. We got through that one too. Oh, I see. I don't think we got all of them. We did get those two though. I was surprised they let me get that one. They did for that moment. Okay, we somehow survived that. Let's get the heck out of here before all that stuff shows back up. Skill point, okay. I don't even know what to like. Do we have something that's like just 2? Spin slam and spin shot. Quick storage is probably better. Let's do this. Yeah, we needed that for later on in the game anyway. Maxed out. Yep. I think you can talk to him and buy stuff, can't you? Third scraping ground. Okay, so he fell off. Is it go time really? These things keep jumping. Okay. So it like resets. Can I actually just beat him with it? I feel like I should. There we go. There's all this bramble crap around here. Wow. Oh, we survived all of that somehow. But it's like, how many freaking layers are there? I don't remember anymore. It just keeps going. Should have bought more health. Fourth. Oh, I see. How did that not hurt it? I honestly don't remember how to beat these things. And I feel like you have to stuff keeps following me. Like, it's partially defeated, but then there's that other one there. Where? I have no idea where the apple is.
It's gonna be alright. I like to do things.
And we failed that. But it makes you wonder, do you have to do all of that over again? Look at that. I got 3 out of this. So no, we're not going to continue all that. That is a lot to do right there. But let's see what happens if we exit out of this. Let's return to that layer. We're not going to do all that. Oof, this would be just a whole bonanza playthrough all over again. Not really trying to do that. What we were trying to do was close that out. Let's see what else they had on this online software. If there was any more regular DK levels or something like that. I was down for that, but not this other stuff. So we got 6 cards for that. Okay. So yeah, most of these are just DK Bonanza games. There's only a handful of the Donkey Kong Country ones. So that's disappointing. But hey, we did all that. I am going to end it here. We'll see you guys in the next one. Other Yellow Hat Guy will return.
Captain Sensation.
See that for whatever reason, but you should. It is not choosing to show this at all. know if it has to do it when there's a second screen up there. I'm not really sure why it's not. It should be capturing and showing that screen regardless. Yeah, see, it's only showing it when it's up, but it shouldn't necessarily do that. It should always show it whether it's in the background or not. So yeah, having issues there where so let me see here. There was an option in the properties of this that said something about hook rate. I'll leave it as it is, but it is showing there now. And then it immediately froze. Get it. It's like, stop. Not showing it.
How many times do you think I'm gonna? Are you done?
No.
How many times do you think I'm gonna start to open the window when I'm driving my car to open the door?
No, I'm still streaming. Yeah. I was trying to look to see. I'm not recording, but it's still a live stream. I'm trying to get that wide, but it's not casting to this TV, and normally I shouldn't have to do that. It should be playing in the background regardless. So now it wants to show it, or at least it's trying. But I shouldn't have to do that for it to keep that going. Like if it's not the main screen, it's like, oh, we're not showing you what you want to see, and that's dumb. It should show that there, whether that's in the background or not. Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And after some troubleshooting, we had to get everything situated. We got maybe 15 minutes to do this. But we're gonna check out this Super Luigi 64. It was always, where's Luigi? Back when it was Super Mario Brothers, you assumed based off of the movie that they were both last name Mario. Mario, Luigi, Mario. In fact, the horrible early 90s movie told you that. But Luigi was nowhere to be found. So he was actually supposed to be in the game, but they cut him last minute because, number one, they were only going to give one controller. And number two, they couldn't figure out how to get the split screen going to have Mario and Luigi playing this game at the same time. Now, some hackers and modders have found a way to do it in recent years. But just a game where you're playing as Luigi just on his own hasn't been a thing at all, except for the DS version where you can kind of alternate between Mario, Wario, and Yoshi. And I would love for them to put that game back out because the controls on the DS for it were not great, but they just haven't done it for whatever reason. So you see Luigi here in all his glory. Ciao, you've reached Princess Toadstool's castle via warp pipe. Using the controller as a piece of cake, blah 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 blah. So this is made by the crown jewel of Mario hacking, KZ. Or Kaze, I think that's what they call him. He's put another one of these out. And I'm sure it's just the same exact game, just with Luigi pasted over it, but maybe not. Kaze may have added some additional stuff. Obviously, he's done stuff with the voice and the sprite work. But just to see if Bob Battlefield is the same. Okay. Then you also wonder, like, where's Mario in all this? Did he change the story to show that Mario's also captured somewhere? But I like the little things. The green is on there instead of red for Mario. Wow, you're smack in the middle of the battlefield. You found the power stars that Bowser stole inside the painting. Okay. So I noticed that one thing I don't like, the Y button is not the punch, the X button is. So it's pretty much Y and X. Or, I'm sorry, X and A on this particular controller. But the long jump is still what it should be for me, so I'm comfortable. So yeah, there's a Chomp over there. Oh, he got me. That took a lot of health, too. If Luigi would stop sliding, that would be great. You gotta be quick on this. Oh, one more hit and we're done. Oh no, the game slowed down and froze. It froze on me. They knew I was gonna get that star and killed me off. Let's run that back. I know I'm supposed to go to the top and do all that, though. Almost fell off there. So the graphics are a little bit blurry compared to what they should be. I feel like this is running as if it's on a traditional N64, which is part of the problem. But Luigi, what are you doing? Get on there and do the ground pound already. I know alternatively I could have grabbed one of the bob-ombs and held it up there, and I think if you throw it, he gets afraid of those when they blow up. But I guess I just chose to do things the hard way this time. Okay, so we got one of them. We're gonna take on the bob-omb, the king bob-omb. So many memories with this. Just world right here. This was as good as it was going to get for open world Mario games, but it was pretty much the gold standard at the time. Maybe until you see those huge balls coming at you. And there's more of them. And the crazy thing was you could kind of sense that they were, you know, huge marbles that were going to hurt you, even without rumble pack or anything like that. Alright, here he is. I didn't even bother to read whatever smack he was talking. Sorry about that. So we gotta remember, it's X on here. Luigi just keeps sliding. I don't know if he did that on purpose to like showcase how he's different from Mario, but it is not cool. It just makes it more difficult. It makes all the running, the precision that you had with this just a little bit tougher, especially on those levels where you're long jumping away. Like, look at that extra slide, like that extra dash, it's unnecessary. I feel like Luigi would tear an ACL, MCL, just running. Ugh. Okay. I remember you were at my school a few months ago. Hey, thank you for tuning in and watching. Appreciate you. I'm assuming you like, comment, subscribe, share, but that sharing part would be appreciated. Hopefully you're having a good 4th of July and you're not out here in this heat because it's like 100-degree weather. Hello, friend. Your stream pretty cool. Add me on Discord. Okay. So we got a star here. And if you wrote a card, and I'm assuming you were one of the kids that also wrote a card, I appreciate that. If you didn't see the video or I thanked you guys, check that out too. I appreciate you. So we're going to do one more star here and call it a day. I just wanted to see some of the others. Is that the penguin one? Let's see how that one's going to be. We'll go somewhere cool. Nope, can't do it. I need 3 power stars. But I think I can do the princess slide here. That one's a quick, easy one. But, you know, if you want to see more of this when I'm done, you know, leave comments saying you want more of this kind of stuff, and I'll try to jump on that. Ooh, almost fell off there. Yes. Oh, was I a second too short for the other one? I was sure I had it. I was sure I was going to get both stars. Somebody told me, I was like, oh, you need to die for that last one, and I did it. Okay, so now I have enough to do the penguin slide. Let's try the penguin slide, if I can. Some of you watching weren't even born when this game came out. The original game, that is. Obviously not this version of it. I had to stop and think about that for a second. Okay. I know what you're thinking. You're like, you just did a slide and now you're doing another one. Ooh, I fell off that. But rest assured, all is not lost. Now everything's lost. I was playing this and was almost at the last Bowser fight, then my little sister deleted the save. Dang! Are y'all still cool? Because he had to put in some work to get to that one. I think you had to get like 60 stars, 70 stars, something like that. I feel like it's 70. But 70 is not hard to get in this game. I feel like if you watched my Mario Galaxy gameplay, we did like 60 of those. And those felt a little bit tougher than these. Oh man, it's just... the frame rate on this is just... Ah! You didn't hear me scream like that. It was just really glitchy and messing with my eyes. Aw, diddums. That was you 3 years ago. Okay. This one shouldn't be that hard. And the other one here that I can do quickly is this one here, grabbing the penguin. This is the meme on the internet where you take the penguin and don't give the mom her child back. And she's looking at you like, what's wrong with you, you monster? But then you're like, who are you, lady, that you don't know where your kid is? And they both look the same. I know that's obvious here, but she's like, you should know that that's not my kid. Like he's wearing a shirt or something to distinguish him from the others. No. But this always reminds me of like Christmas time. You found my precious baby. Where have you been? How can I ever thank you, Luigi? Oh, I have this star. Conveniently have this. Take it with my eternal gratitude. See, there's another baby that's closer, and you're supposed to be tricked into thinking to grab that baby. And if you grab that baby, she's looking at you like, what's wrong with you? That doesn't look like my kid at all. Alright, so rather than struggle on the penguin race, because I know you don't want to see me do that 2 or 3 more times, we are going to do, let's see, if I had 8 stars, that would be great. What about over here? See, look, he's just unnecessary sliding. It's making it extra difficult. Reacting to the power stars, blah, 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 blah. I am digging the green flower that they've got there, though. Get in there, Luigi. So 3 years ago, she deleted your save file, but did you ever go back and beat the game? That's the question. Part of me is like, I could share you a save file, but you're playing this on your Nintendo 64, probably not on other devices like I am. Fun fact, or maybe not so fun fact, and also like a humble brag. The guy who is the original voice of Mario in the 64, he actually signed my copy of this game. I've got that somewhere in the house. So I think you were supposed to go up here. You didn't beat it. Okay. But I think you're supposed to go here and do this. And you could like hide underneath him, get him to flip, and then ground pound. That was the trick that I learned. I was like, oh, just do your thing. He's conveniently got a band-aid on his back. Oh, he got me. What? He got me again? You see the look on my face. I wasn't expecting that. That was not cool. All right, let's run that back because that should have been a star. Oh, you have it on your Switch too, or on the Switch Online, or did you get the? Were you one of the lucky people who got the 3D All Stars pack? Because that game is worth some money. You might be able to pay your part of your first semester college tuition with that game. The one that's got Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy on it. If you've kept that, which you should, they don't make it anymore. They don't want to sell it anymore because they gave it to people at a deal, and it was at limited time only. I got the cartridge too, so amen, there you go. Keep that. Do not sell it. Keep it. By the time you're old enough to go to college, if you're choosing to go to college, you can sell that. Get a few $100s off of it. Alright, that's one. Somehow he got me. That's two, we just need one more. And down goes Fraser. No, crushed again. I'm just a stepping stone. After all, I won't grovel. Here, you win. Take this with you. They were so cheesy back then. And I don't remember if that's what he originally said or if the guy who modded this game put that in there. Okay, so I should end it there, but because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I actually have people watching, I kind of want to do one more. It was Bowser who stole the stars on my eyes. But I do have to go in a few minutes, but I appreciate all you guys for watching and chiming in. There was a water one. I hate water levels, but I do want to see what they've got going on here. Because if the water levels are horrible, that determines if I'm going to keep playing this or not. Blah, 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 blah. One of these toads gives stars, and I don't remember which one it is, but I know there's some later in the game that gives stars, but early on, somebody should give stars. I remember this, you get all the red coins and you get a star. So this one is pretty, pedestrian. So that's two. I feel like there's a third one right here. Some of your classmates were like, please play Roblox. I did play Roblox, so make sure you go look in the playlist on my channel. Search for the Roblox. There's a couple of those there. Y'all have to actually comment on those videos if you want me to play more Roblox. There was the Guess the Meme one. That one was fun. There was one with like Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know how they got that one, but that was interesting. They had like a Wordle ripoff on there. They had some like Fortnite kind of game. There's different games up there. So I get why you guys like it. It's like short doses of fun or whatever. Okay, so what number was that? I wasn't counting. Was that 6? Okay, let's see what's over here. Oh, that was 7. That's 8. Okay, so the swimming wasn't... What device am I playing on? This or Roblox? I'm playing Roblox on the PS5. This is on my computer. Yeah, this is not a game that you can get in stores as Luigi. So we got 7. Or we got 6 stars. Oh, if I can get 2 more, I can take on Bowser up there in the corner. Let's see, can I beat Koopa the Quick? And that Bowser level's gonna suck. I can't promise you that I'm gonna complete that one. Yeah, Koopa the Quick is here. But I should be able to beat him. I know people are always like, oh, I can beat so-and-so with one hand behind my back. But I really think I could possibly beat him with just one hand playing this. Am I gonna try that? Absolutely not. Okay, so he's behind me, but if I just keep long jumping, there's no way he can catch me. Because I feel like Luigi runs a little bit faster than Mario on here, too. Let's take the shortcut. Did you remember this shortcut here? Oh, I'm watching this on my PS5 and commenting on my phone. Interesting, okay. So we beat him. Let's see. Since I was so fast, it's going to take him a while to get up there. Man, he is taking his time. Like, hurry up, dude. Got stuff to do. Alright, there he is. And he's ashamed, so he's got his back turned to you. Oh, get the star, Luigi. There we go. So that's 7. I'm trying to do these as quick as I can. At work, but I'll pull up with my crew for your next stream. Add me on Discord. Oh, you want me on Discord. Discord. What is this? Shoot to the island in the sky. I don't know that I'm going to do that one. I don't have the patience for that one. Let's see if I can do one more that's quick. We didn't even go into the water level yet. Let me see what this one is. We went into a water level, but not the water world. Top of the fortress. I think I can... Is the bird in here? Where's the owl? He is not here yet. There is... let's go to the warp. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know that the warp was even here for like, I don't know, 20 years? Playing this game for 20 years and walking all the way up to the top. And then I happened to see somebody on the internet do this, and I was like, oh, you could do that? I've been walking up there all this time? So instead of the womp being up here, you've got the tower here. Oh, what was that, Luigi? He was just like, ugh, no, jump over there. You know what? Maybe I did that wrong. Can you handstand off of this? I didn't think you could. No. He still grabbed that, though. And there's all the red coins. I was scared of doing that as a kid. I was like, oh, look at all those clouds. They expect me to jump all the way over there? I was not with it. But eventually had to do it. I think it was more like a fear of heights or something like that. Okay, so we got that one too. Okay, so let's try the first Bowser. Hold on, did he also have a star? Did we talk to him? Oh no, yeah, we talked to him. He didn't have anything. Okay, so we'll go through here. And then we'll see what we've got going on here. So what are y'all doing? Are y'all cooking out? Your parents cooking out for you? Oh, I didn't read that. I'm sorry. I'm just anxious to... Because, you know, Luigi slides and everything, so what's going to be a problem is if I'm trying to stop in mid-jump, and he... Look at that! He just slides off. That's going to make me frustrated and just turn off the game. It doesn't help that this camera angle is still awful. Like, I put up with it because it's Mario, but being honest, it's not the best. But it was the best at its time, I guess. Yeah, Luigi mods, that's what we're doing. Super Luigi 64 is what this is called. I remember collecting the red coins on here too, and how frustrating that was, but if you wanted all 120, you had to do it. I don't have the attention span to do that right now. Also, I think you need the metal hat to do it, to avoid the fire and all that. So far, so good. You know what? I should do this. I should save right here. Yes. That way, if I screw up, I can come right back here. I don't normally do that for these kind of games. But since your sister turned off your system, we at least want to beat one of these Bowsers. How about that? We'll try to beat this one. So look at that unnecessary sliding. Oh my gosh! See, that's why I saved it. I saved it just for that. Hold on, go back. Run that back. That was about to be a disaster too. Get out of the way. You just gotta wait. He just keeps sliding. Okay, so that went better. Can I long jump this? No, what are you doing? Get up there, man. Alright. Tough luck, Luigi. Princess Toadstool isn't here. No, I gotta read that right.
Tough luck, Luigi. Princess Toadstool isn't here. Go ahead. Just try to grab me by the tail. You'll never be able to swing me around. A wimp like you won't throw me out of here. Never.
Alright, so... He wants me to do that, obviously. But where is the... Okay, there's a thing there. Is it the X button? What did I say? It was the X button. Dang it. You know what I should have done to not waste time is saved it when I grabbed his tail. So that I don't have to sit here when the cane him. Oh, he got me there. I ran it right into him. Okay, so let's do that right here. Let's save right there. Yeah, that was a fail. Load. He's literally right here. I should be able to get him. There's one. I don't think you have to do it 3 times on this one. I think this one is just one.
Grrr. I was a little bit careless. This is not as I had planned, but I still hold the power stars, and I still have Peach. Okay. He said hold the power. Whoa! You'll get no more stars from me. I'm not finished with you yet. But I'll let you go for now. You'll pay for this later.
Okay, so we beat him. We avenged your sisters deleting the save file. Make sure, as always, you guys like, comment, subscribe, share. Okay, so we're gonna save and end this. But as always, appreciate you watching. I can't say it enough. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.
When it's least expected, you're elected, you're the star today. Smile, you're on Game Boy camera. It's fun to look at yourself as other people do. How's your sense of humor? There's a rumor, laughter's on its way. Smile, you're on Game Boy camera.
Yes, with Game Boy Camera, you can turn photography into photography.